Alright, hi guys, welcome back to the videos. I thought I might as well put a video together showing the equipment I'm using for this World Championship Duathlon event. The bike, I'm pretty happy with how the bike is, to be honest. It's all pretty top spec now. Only very small marginal gains to be made on the bike, I'd say, at this stage. Earlier in the year I went for a bike fit with a chap in the UK called Matt Bottrell. I'm sure many of you will have heard of him. He's a bit of a bike fitting specialist in the UK. He helped me out with these. Well, I already had the Drag to Zero poles and set up, but he's managed to get it really dialed. So the idea now is these poles sit as close to the arm as possible, because the least one of the least aerodynamic shapes you can get is a round cylinder. So trying to make it into an aerofoil shape, even though effectively that's a reverse because you've got the tail at the front and the arm on the back. But yeah, just trying to get rid of any round tubes is a good thing. Bike computer I use is a Wahoo, and on a race like this, still undecided whether I'll have the course map on there or more information about power and cadence and stuff. But I'll probably go with course map, just a bit easier. It means you can really go into the hairpins. Well, you know what's coming up basically. Spares and stuff. I carry it in the little bento box at the top. I've got a CO2 canister, spare inner tube, valve extender because the deep wheel needs a long valve, the disc needs a short valve, and some tyre levers. Both wheels are set up tubeless, so hopefully the sealant in there should fix a small flat. So the spare's just a last resort really. And then saddle, it's an ISM of some description. It's okay, I don't know, starting to like it more than I was liking it, but it's probably still not perfect for me. As I say, Ultegra group set on the bike. It's got power meters built into the cranks. I run the Luckio pedals. Yeah, on this bike, Giant have a nose cone hydration system that has a little straw and an aero bottle on the frame. Combined, I think they make about 1 litre of water, and I expect the 60k bike to be about 1.5 hours on the bike, so realistically I should probably be getting through both of those two, and then for the rest of the route of the runs that should do me. I shouldn't need to take on any more water. Rest of the gear, after racing the GB tri-suit, I'm being a bit aero geek here, but you can only get this in a vest style at the moment, and I know there's significant aero losses compared to a sleeved suit where they can make the air trip around the shoulders, but it's all we've got. Depending on the weather, might wear some arm warmers. Could do with doing these up though, because my biceps aren't really big enough to hold them up. Shoes, I've actually only got some cheap Shimano plastic soled shoes, where I think if I'm to look for marginal gains on the bike and equipment, that's certainly one area I could explore further. But at the very least get some lighter weight carbon soled shoes. But there's also, these pedals aren't particularly, they're just a standard Luckio pedal. I can certainly go higher spec with them, or even look at Speedplay do a set called the Aeros, which are meant to be significantly faster, but the Speedplay system is hard to set up, and I'd have to. Well, my other bike uses Luckio style pedal, Favero Azioma pedals, so it'd be a bit of pain having different pedals between the two shoes, but something that could be worked around, I'm sure. Helmet wise, been using for a while now the Giro Aerohead. I think it's quite a good match for my bike position and body style. I'll show you some pictures. When I went to Matt Bottrell, I did try on 2 other helmets, or a few other helmets actually, and the Cas Mistral looked like it could fit, but they're very expensive, and I'd like to do some testing before committing to buying one, so maybe something else to explore down the line. For my number pin, I use this little speed wallet from No Pins. It's a bit more tight fitting than just a standard waistband with the number flapping in the air, so that's another little small aero saving. Wear some aero socks as well, small aero savings, more aerodynamic than a normal leg. running in the Vaporflies, and I use the same pair for both runs with elastic laces. These are actually a half a size bigger than bigger than I would normally use if I was just gonna do an outright running effort and I had normal lace in there, but I just find half a size bigger helps get my feet in a hurry, and then the elastic compresses it in anyway, so as long as that tension's about right, it makes up for the difference in size. As I say, the event itself is a 10k run, followed by a 60k bike, and another 10k finish off. So for me, that would be about 32 minutes, or 32 and a half minutes, and then an hour and a half, and then another 32 and a half minutes. So when I did the World Championships the European Championships in Asseldorf a few weeks ago, I didn't take anything in for the first 10k. Well, obviously, I ate food before the event, and a gel before the event, but that first 10k didn't take anything, and then had probably about 90 grams of carbs in the nose cone, finished that off, and I think I had about 60 in the bottle, but I definitely didn't finish that off, so I'm not sure how far into that I got. And that final 10k was definitely a minute and a half slower than the first 10k, but I was by myself doing a solo effort at this stage, so I couldn't say 100% if that was motivation for being on my own or if I was flagging a bit, but I think I'm going to try and take in a gel this time coming off the first run onto the bike, just so that I know exactly what I've had. And then I'll probably go for nose cone hydration again with another 90 grams ish, and try and get another gel in just at the start of the run, just to tide me over that final 30 minutes. Because I'd really like to try and get the first run and the final run much closer than they were. I'll show you some stats in a minute. So common consensus on energy gels and stuff, these are about 35 grams per packet. These are about 27 I think it is, but if we just call them both 30 for now. And it's a 2.5 hour race, so most people would say you want about 90 grams of carbs per hour. So if you actually think about it, that's pretty much everything you see there would make up the amount I'd need for the race. But yeah, you do go into the race fueled, so in my head, the first hour is for free, and after that you're making up the difference. But it's important to start fueling early, because it's always got, as soon as you take a gel, you've still got like a half an hour kicking effect. So I think maybe that's where I went a bit wrong last time, is I fueled maybe about the right, well, I still think I underfueled slightly, but also started fueling too late. So as soon as I get off that first run, the intensity drops, getting ready for the bike, I'll make sure to get a gel down and then keep on top of it a bit better. Right, I'll jump on the computer now and do a bit of a run through on the course. Alright, so here we are, jumped over onto the computer. I'm just going to show you the results quickly from the Europeans on the 10th of April. Today's the 6th of May, so pretty much a month ago. You see, as I was saying, my overall time was about 2 hours and 30 minutes. First run, 32 minutes. 1 hour, well, I said 30, but 1 hour 23 on the bike. And then that second run, you look at the drop off, nearly, well, a minute and 20 seconds, which is pretty big. Whereas the competitors had the fastest first run by 20 seconds. Bike, fastest by big old margin. But my second run, well, I say it was that bad. I was still down in third basically, but you can see the two second and third, the two Germans, both put in far more consistent. So there's only 2 seconds different, and there he's actually gone faster on the second run, whereas I'm running on quite a big drop off. So that's something I'd like to definitely try and look at. Besides fueling, one other reason I think this could be is this first run, my average heart rate was 162 and maximum was 166. So for me, I would say that's right around threshold, which is sort of hour-long pace. But obviously this race is 2.5 hours. So I'd probably like to see this at around 1:58, I think would be a good place for me for a 2.5 hour race. And some other things that would be worth noting, well, not worth noting, but a bit annoying. So it was 32:27, so surprisingly close to, oh, a bit longer actually. But that's just to account for transition. But if you look at the distance, because it wasn't quite 10k, it doesn't log on my personal stats on Training Peaks or Strava as a 10k effort, so that's a bit annoying. Because it would have been up towards the top, I think. And cadence 91. And then on the bike, I'll just hide some of these other fields. So on the bike, you can, probably easier if it's turn everything else off, to be honest. This is my heart rate. You can see there's definitely setting out on the bike is 160, but down by the end I'm down sort of in the 140s, so I've definitely backed off the effort on the bike as I've gone along. Average of 144. Power was 275 with a normalised, so that's accounting for the spikes, it sort of attributes effort for spiking, of 280, which I'm reasonably happy with, but it's not amazing. And then this final run, cadence has only dropped by 2 RPM, so steps per minute, and that's actually 1 foot, so that actually makes up 4 steps per minute when you use both feet. But if you look at this heart rate, it's down by 146, so 146 versus 162, nearly 20 beats lower, so that either shows that I'd personally backed off the effort or I'd underfueled and was bonking a bit. So definitely something to keep an eye on anyway. It was trending up though throughout there, so coming off the bike it was 140, towards the end back at 150ish, and then a little sprint finish at the end. So yeah, just something I'm going to keep an eye on this time, try and get these 2 runs a bit more closely matched. Probably pace a little bit better, but looking at this weekend coming up, to start with, it's obviously a 10k run. I haven't been at Recce the run course yet, but here's what it looks like. According to this, it's pretty flat with a total ascent of only 67 metres, but the course description describes it as hilly, so I'll have to go and check that out. Yeah, the second run's going to start and finish in a slightly different place, but they're going to be the same leaps basically, just depending on where transition is. Here's a bit of a stat overload with the bike. This is a website that tries to predict bike times and tells you where the wind's going to be on the day. So transitions over here. I probably should have said on the run, I think it's 2.5 laps to make up 10k. Oh, maybe it's 3 laps. I have to check that in the event notes for sure. And then on the bike, it's definitely 2 laps. So starting off in town, heading out, and I've been on bike this bit's quite city centre at the moment, but on race day I believe it's closed road, so you should be able to fly through there, but there's a few traffic lights at the moment, so not great riding. By the time you get out onto this section here, the roads become far nicer at the moment. Nice smooth tarmac, quiet roads. You got a gradual uphill all the way out, and then around here there's some descenty sections. You can see probably just about here where the graph's dropping, and then a little cobble section climb over here. If I throw the little man down, you'll be able to see it. Where are we? Back here. Oh, of course that's on the wrong bit. Still on the wrong bit. Apologies. This bit here. See this little cobble section. Definitely very mild cobbles though, and definitely not very steep, 6% maybe. So 2 laps of this. Well, 2 laps of the section from here, so you go back on yourself there. You don't go into town twice, you only go into town once, or in and out of town. yeah, looking forward to the bike. And these little arrows give you a rough idea of the wind on the day. So anything blue, tailwind, nice and fast. Anything red, headwind. And I believe the wind's actually going to be quite strong. If we just go to sort of this section here and have a look. Yeah, it's saying upwards of 30 miles per hour, or kph. So yeah, it's pretty strong winds, but nice and sheltered from what I've seen mostly. So it should be a good race, really. Looking forward to it. Hope this insight into my equipment and the course is useful to some people. Now it's just to see how I actually get on with the day. Let's do it.